G'day, g'day. How you going? What do you know? We'll strike a light. G'day, g'day. And how you going? Just say g'day, 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 and you'll be right.
Now we come to the portion of the service before we do our Bible study that we address the end times news and trends that are happening as it relates to Bible prophecy. And a couple interesting articles have popped up, and it's more concerning to do with the Temple Mount. As some of you read in the Jerusalem Post, there was dozens of Palestinians that were rioting on the Temple Mount following Friday's prayers. Something that's continued on over times, but as this continues, there's more escalation within the Temple Mount areas. Severe clashes between Muslim worshippers and Israeli security forces near the Temple Mount were reported on Friday in the early afternoon after Friday prayers. According to the police, worshippers were started to throw stones and fireworks at the police force without any clear reason after the conclusion of their Friday prayers. And so, according to Jerusalem police spokesperson, when the prayer service on the Temple Mount ended, the rioters began firing fireworks directly at police forces. And so the Jerusalem district commander ordered police forces to enter the Temple Mount and to evacuate the area. Now, that news in and of itself is not a prophetic aspect, but what we're saying is there's a lot of issues within Jerusalem and the Temple Mount area. And at some point, we do know that there will be a peace deal that will be made, and there will be an agreement for the Jews to build the third temple. And there's different speculation on where they're going to do the third temple. One, it's going to be next to the side of the Dome of the Rock. There's others that believe it's going to be over the Dome of the Rock. The Dome of the Rock is going to be gone somehow, whether it's self-destruction or there's going to be some other force or something that's going to dismantle it. So whatever view that people may have, either way, a third temple is going to be built on the Temple Mount area. So we're starting to see more of these sort of situations developing in that area and on the Temple Mount. And also right next to the Temple Mount is the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And there's an interesting report that came out of the Jerusalem Post, how Abbas's Fatah say and lying about it, but they're saying that Israel's planning to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque. And so there was a stone that fell, as you probably heard, from the Western Wall earlier this week that proves, from what their perspective is, that Israel is devising a plan to destroy the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. So you can start to see people are making these speculations, and it was the archaeologists have still yet to determine what caused this stone to fall off of the ancient wall. It's not because they're trying to purposely destroy that area. It wouldn't make any sense for the Jews to destroy the Western Wall. But you can see how the Arafats or the Palestinians and Abbas's viewpoint is totally skewed. But there's this tension, this hatred in that area, the hatred toward Israel and the Jews. These false accusation continues. The issues of the Temple Mount continues to surface in the news. So when you start to hear that, just pay attention. You know, we're getting closer and closer to seeing a plan being developed, an agreement for the Jews to build the third temple. And then another issue in dealing within the Middle East, which is a constant threat, and that is with Iran. As most of the world knew about the tweet that President Trump had made, but there is an Iranian senior general says if U.S. starts war, Iran will finish it. This came out of the Jerusalem Post. The Iran commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, a general who warned President Trump against threatening Iran, promising that if the U.S. began it, Iran would finish it. But yet, how many times has Iran threatened Israel and threatened the United States? Almost on a daily and a weekly basis. So it's okay for them. But what's different now is the U.S. has a president that's not going to back down from these threats. Whereas the previous administration, he bowed down to Iran and gave them billions of dollars to help build their nuclear weapons. with President Trump, he's not going to do that or be taken advantage of. But it's interesting how it's okay for Iran to threaten and say these things, but when someone kind of responds in the similar way, that somehow there's this hypocrisy and double standard that's being taken place there. But we do see tensions are continuing to mount within the Middle East and all kinds of threats there. On a separate issue, BRICS, we've mentioned that before, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is developing this organization. But the leaders of BRICS, emerging economies, have signed a declaration stressing the importance of an open world economy in which all countries benefit from globalization. So we're going to hear more of this sort of one world government, one world religion, one world currency being developed. And so this is one of those push in that direction to hear this multilateral trading system under a World Trade Organization and the bilateral trading system that faces these unprecedented challenges these days. There's this economic bubble that will eventually burst. And we bring this up because there will be a one world government, a one world religion, a one world currency, and eventually it'll be the mark of the beast. So that will eventually be taking place. The technology is there right now. Whatever the mark of the beast is, a lot of speculation what that looks like or what it's going to be, but we do know that's going to be the economic system where you can buy and sell when you have that. And that's it for today's update.